Yo, man, welcome to Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Hey, you guys, bro, we are at episode 10, man. We got 10 episodes in the bag. Hey, man, I'm so excited. I'm loving doing this. And for episode 10, you guys, man, I got something special for you. And the special thing is that I have a special guest coming. Man. His name is Shane Satterfield. He's a big Atlanta Falcons fan. This guy is my brother, man. I grew up with him my whole life, and I have nothing but love for this young man. So he's going to be coming in later in the show to predominantly talk about the Atlanta Falcons because that's his team. And I want to get into a space of having fans come on my show every now and then and talk about their team. Because a lot of us fans, like, we follow our team differently than what we follow other teams. I just would love to hear the conversations that fan base is having about their favorite team. So those are things that you will be seeing happen a little bit more often. Not every week. Most weeks is going to be the normal, knowing true ball stuff. But here and there, we're going to be sliding in some special guests and things of that nature. But before we get to that, we got to go over the news of this week. And one of the things that took place this week, man, was with the Buffalo Bills. There's been a lot of drama coming out of there. A lot of drama. First of all, they fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, in which I think was an irrelevant fire. I do not think it was necessary. I think that he was fired just because you had to blame somebody. You had to blame somebody for the bad things that are taking place and for Josh Allen's turnovers. It's a lot easier to fire a man that maybe makes $500,000 a year than to fire Josh Allen, who makes $250 million a year. Over the course of his contract. So I think that's what it was. You just had to find somebody to blame. I think Sean McDermott made a big mistake firing Leslie Frazier. I think he's taking on too much. And now he's losing control of his staff and his team. And talking about the team, the drama that's still going on with Stephon Diggs. So Trayvon Diggs, for those of you who do not know, that is Stephon Diggs' little brother. And he is a star defensive back for the Dallas Cowboys. And he's a stud. So this is what makes this even more important that this came off of his tweets, is because he understands the ramifications of these tweets. He is an NFL player. He knows what this means when he tweets this out. And for him to tweet out 14, that's Stephon Diggs' number, needs to get out of there, that has a lot of credence to it. There's a lot more behind that than him just talking. Him and his brother are they're brothers. They're really, really close. So he's heard some gripes from his older brother, and he's just it's time for him to get out of there. And then to turn around and say that pretty much he said Josh Allen was nothing until my brother got there, which he is right. He is 100% right on that. Man, that's a lot of shame going towards Josh Allen, that Bills organization. So there's some things going on there that we have no clue about. I'll be shocked if Stephon Diggs is still there after this season. Honestly, I hate to say it like this, between their record, between the bad losses that they have, the firing of coaches, and now the Bills season is done. I'll be shocked if they make the playoffs. If they could turn it around and mess around and make the playoffs, that's actually a big win for them. But I do not see that happening. And the other piece of news that I want to talk about, and to give you guys a heads up, my guest and I, we talked about this team and this player yesterday. Today, right now, when I'm recording, is Wednesday afternoon. So we talked about this Tuesday night, and the news came out on Wednesday morning that Deshaun Watson is now out for the season with a broken bone in his shoulder. And I feel bad for him. I really do. And I guess I could take a little bit of the things I said back about the shoulder injury, but it's still fishy to me because I'll be shocked if that bone just now broke. So I kind of wonder if it's a torn rotator cuff instead, but they're trying to word it as something different because he kept trying to play through it. But regardless, hopefully, Deshaun get healthy. I hope that you get back to the form that you was with the Houston Texans, because I was a big fan of yours. I'm still rooting for you to play well on the field, and because I would love to see that star power come back on the field. So now, what we're going to do real quick is get into the Week 10 review. It's going to be really quick because we have a long interview with our guest this week. So what we're going to go over real quick is the play clock segment. In the play clock segment, bro, we're going to go over the Panthers at the Chicago Bears. Honestly, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this game. This just showcases how bad the Carolina Panthers are. For you to go out there and honestly get dominated by the Chicago Bears, I didn't watch the full game. I was a waste of my time. I'm not going to say a lot to you guys. But for you to get dominated by them, it showed that the move of drafting Bryce Young was a terrible move for you guys. You traded up to get him. That's what makes it terrible. I'm not necessarily saying that he was a bad prospect or a bad pick. I'm more so saying, like, you trading what you traded to go get him, and you have gotten worse. That's not a good sign. Moving on to the next game, and we got the Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots. This game was taking place in Germany last Sunday morning. For the Colts, man, they are running the football. Jonathan Taylor's getting going, which is nice to see. But that's all I got to say. The Patriots are a very bad football team. Mac Jones, it's probably time for him too. And we already said it last week. It's time for Bill Belichick. It's time to break up. It's just time to break up. He could go coach somewhere else, but it's time to lead the New England Patriots. Moving on to the next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs did it again. Man, Josh Dobbs is showcasing that he's a really good quarterback in this league. I do not believe that he is a permanent starter, but I do believe he's a fringe starter, meaning like he's going to be a premier backup for his career. But like if he's your backup, if he was on the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes got hurt, I'm like, we could still win that game. And that's what's nice to have in your backup. That's what you want. So Josh Dobbs, man, continue doing your thing. You're going to mess around and get a contract that's probably going to be worth about $10 to $12 million a season, probably about 3-4 years worth. Congratulations to you, big dog. Get your money and continue playing well, because I can tell how much you love this game. Moving on to the next team, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers found a way to win again. But sincerely, though, the Steelers' defense is looking really good. But more importantly, the Steelers' running game is really starting to show something. Really starting to show some signs of life. Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren are proven to be a real combo in the NFL. I just wish that they could get a true passing attack going. I don't really care who the main target is, but you got to get a true passing attack going. You're going to have to push the ball down the field at some point, because teams like the Baltimore Ravens, teams like the Cleveland Browns, teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, when you get to the playoffs, you got to play against some teams, and you tell them the only thing we got to defend is the run, you're not going to score no points, and you will lose that game. Moving on to the next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tennessee Titans, man, it's time to rebuild it. You should have traded Derrick Henry like I suggested, even traded DeAndre Hopkins, get some things back. You guys aren't making the playoffs. You're not going very far. And as far as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, good job. You winning games that you're supposed to win. You're keeping your nose in the fight for the NFC South crown. Moving on to the next game, man, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to dig deeper into the Falcons, obviously, later when we talk to our special guests. But for this game by itself, I mean, Taylor Heineke / Desmond Ridder took way too many sacks. Desmond Ridder, he missed some throws when he came in the game after the Heineke injury. But more importantly, man, Kyler Murray, that's who I really would like to talk about real quick. He's healthy. He's sincerely healthy, and Kyler Murray is a very dynamic player, and he can win some games. And this game right here, Kyler Murray showcased that he was the best player on the field. But also, real quick about the Falcons, I'm happy to see y'all finally use Bijan Robinson. I think this was the best game plan y'all have running the football and actually utilizing your playmakers all season so far. Moving on to the next game, we got the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys had a bye week. I really ain't got too much to say. Hey, Dallas, good job. Went out there, handled your business. A good team should dominate the bad teams, and that's what you did. Congratulations. Move on. Dak, good game. And the next game, we got the Washington Commanders at the Seattle Seahawks. Man, the Commanders, they fought hard. Their defense played better than what I anticipated them playing after trading their two defensive ends. But, man, they still lost this game. Seattle made plays when it's time to make plays, and that's how the game finished. Seattle, I do believe, needs to continue trying to work on the running game. Sincerely, get the running game going. You should be averaging probably about 4 yards to 5 yards to carry with that group of running backs. And instead, you're not getting that. I think that's hindering everything. Geno played better. This was probably the best game I've seen him play so far this year. And the final game we're going to talk about is, unfortunately, shouldn't have been on TV. The New York Jets at the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't really have too much to say about the Jets because it's just the same thing. Offense is terrible. Defense is good. Zach Wilson is not an NFL caliber quarterback. That's all. And then for the Raiders, man, it's just dope to see that after firing their head coach, going through all the adversity they went through, they got a new head coach, a former player, a player that I actually was a big fan of growing up, in Antonio Pierce. And man, those guys are out there fighting, man. They're winning games. Somehow these dudes are 5-5, even going through all the turmoil that they've been going through this year. So man, credit to them. Credit to them. Keep fighting. Keep being hungry. And Antonio Brown's is keeping it simple. Get the ball to Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, my best players, giving the ball. Man, who would have known? Rocket science. But, man, that's the Play Clock segment. Next thing we're going to do is go over the Week 11 preview before we get into our interview with Shane Satterfield. This week, the slate of games ain't, like, nothing too crazy. There are some games that truly matter, but, like, there's nothing that jumps off the page. There's only 2 games that jump off the page, and the cool thing is we get it at the beginning and at the end. So, starting today, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. This is a very big game for both teams. I cannot explain how big this game is. Both teams just came off a loss. Teams that they should have beat, they both lost to. And now they are fighting. They are fighting. If the Cincinnati Bengals win this game, they fly up the rankings in their division. If the Baltimore Ravens lose this game, they now drop underneath the first spot since the beginning of the season. So, I mean, this is a very, very big game for these teams. And I think it's going to come down to what quarterback makes the most mistakes and which one has the most sacks. I think it's that plain and simple what it's going to come down to. Both defenses are solid. Both defensive lines are good. But what quarterback is going to have the most turnovers and which one is going to make the most plays? And I'm actually going to go with the Baltimore Ravens in this game. That's who I think is going to win. I think Lamar's going to show up after that performance that he had last week. And then the second game that matters is the Monday Night Football game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Kansas City Chiefs. We got another Kelsey Bowl. No, I'm just playing. But this is a big game. It's a big game. Obviously, I'm rooting for my Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. It's going to come down to the defenses. What defense could prove to be the most dominant? And specifically the defensive lines. The Eagles' offensive line has not been as dominant as I was hoping for going into this year, and the Chiefs' defense has been very, very good. And we also saw what the Chiefs' defensive line was able to do in the Super Bowl, which was kind of have some good control in that game. The Eagles did not run the ball nearly as effectively in the Super Bowl as they did for the whole season. And now with Jalen Hurts not really having to function with his knee accordingly, how he was last year, I think it's going to hinder them a lot. And then for the Kansas City Chiefs, man, can the tackles hold up? Can the tackles hold up against Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, and all those defensive ends and defensive linemen that they got, Brandon Graham, Davis, all those boys that they got on that front line, man, the Kansas City Chiefs tackles have to show up. And you're not going to be able to run the football against them, so it's time for the wide receivers to step up. It's time for them to step up. So, yeah, I think it's going to come down to which defense proves to be the most dominant. And, of course, I'm rolling with my Kansas City Chiefs, so I'm rolling with both of the home teams in these games. And, bro, we're going to get into the important games with our special guest. So, hey, y'all get ready. I know some of y'all know him and some of y'all love him. Shane Satterfield. Yo, man. Welcome to Knowing True Ball. Hey, y'all. Just like we did going into this little piece right here. I gave you the heads up. I got my boy with me, my man Shane Satterfield. It's been my homie since we was born. Day ones for sure. My best man at my wedding and my brother for life. Hey, bro. Glad to have you on. Appreciate
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Hey, first of all, man, tell the people, man, how's life going? How's life going over there in Houston, man? You left us here in the field. You left us in the cold.
Ain't bad down here in the H, man. It was a 70-degree day. Can't really beat it. Worked, came home, get ready to chop it up with my brother, knowing some true ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Well, bro, man, we ain't going to waste nobody's time, man. We're going to jump straight into this thing. We're going to get straight to it. And the first thing, man, what we're going to be talking about, we about to be talking about the important games. Man, we're going to start off a little easy. Get your feet wet right quick.
Yep.
So, man, what we're going to start off with is the Niners at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bro, man, the 49ers went down there and busted them boys. It got ugly fast.
What is that? What does that say? What is that? Do you think that's more of a knock on Jags or a tip in the hat for the 49ers?
I actually think it's both. Okay. Now, hear me out why I think it's both. So, for those that have been following the show regularly, you will know that last week the Jacksonville Jaguars did not make the top 5. Even though they had a 6-2 record, they didn't make the cut. And the reason why they didn't make the cut is because I wasn't sold on them as a team. I don't like the way that they necessarily been winning games. I feel like they've been getting by, just scraping and clawing, getting by week, which, hey, in some aspects, great for you guys. Like you're
Gotta
finding a
be
way
able
to
to win the
win.
ugly ones.
Yep, you got to win the game. So credit to you. But also, I'm looking at the quality of opponents that you beat. Like, yeah, you beat the Bills, but you beat them boys when they flew over in London. You already been there for a week. And like, yeah, like you beat a couple other teams, but they're not top notch. And
Hey, hey, relax.
I apologize.
Relax.
But
Nah, we gonna get
so man, the thing is for them, I was just kind of like, I need to see them against a team that actually got that juice. And then also for the 49ers, they're going to take them lightly in this game after losing 3 straight games. They knew that they needed this dub. So what I actually think it says is that a healthy 49ers team still may be the best team in the entire NFL. Those dudes, bro, when they're all rocking and rolling, you gotta remember they're a very top heavy team.
Yeah.
And the only way the team's together is by having a super cheap quarterback. So now, bro, when you got that going on and you get a guy like Trent Williams that gets hurt, Deebo Samuel gets hurt, it really changes the structure of the offense.
Yeah.
And with those guys back, it allowed the offense to get back on pace. Not only does it affect the offense, it also affects the defense. When your running game ain't as strong, when you're not maintaining drives, now Fred Warner and them boys are out there left and right, left and right, left and right.
Adding in that boy Chase Young,
who was cold in that game, by the way.
Yeah.
He showed up and he showed why they went out.
Yep. He
Still crazy
to stand up for the O.
Absolutely. Still crazy to think about that he got traded for a 3rd round pick. But hey, that's neither here nor there.
Did you hear what he said? They were like, how you feel about being traded to San Francisco? He said, I wasn't mad. You know? Hey, going to the Super Bowl contender team, my boy Joey Bosa, or you know.
Hey, look, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at him at all. And hey, look, you go there, ball out, have a good playoff run, mess around, get a fat contract. Hey, I ain't hating. Do your thing.
It's really interesting. Like when you don't have to pay a quarterback, there it's almost like when it's a parallel to like the NBA. They are like the early days, like the way that Golden State was able to set up their contract because Steph Curry got hurt and everything. That's the equivalent of not having to pay a quarterback. You get to put all these pieces around them. You get to get max contracts. You get to have a stout defense, stout defensive line.
And then just continue adding to it. That's the crazy part. You can just continue adding. Because Brock Purdy ain't making, I think he's only making about $500,000 a year. Like, that ain't nothing, bro. That ain't nothing when you're saying the quarterback market is $30 million. For Daniel Jones is getting $42 million.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones getting $40 million. Like, bro, that's wild. And you tell me Brock Purdy, like that's the new cheat code, bro. Your quarterback on a rookie contract. But speaking of the quarterback, what I think it says about him is that he's not great unless all the pieces are there. So I think that we finally got an answer on him of like, is he really this good, or is it really kind of the team that's this good?
Yeah. Was that really I don't know if that was really a question though. Was that really a question? Like he walked into a beautiful situation.
Beautiful.
He walked in a beautiful situation. You can't really be mad at Kyle Shanahan for, utilizing. I mean, I guess nobody's mad is what I'm saying, but I give more credit to Kyle Shanahan for getting the most out of that guy.
Absolutely.
Whereas he went a lot of other places, he'd be trash. This just is what it would be. You know what
Terrible.
I mean? Terrible. But he's, one of his gifts is anticipation, just like Tua. Not to the level of Tua, but you know what I'm saying? Of course. So when you get that, when you're able to squeeze that out of guys, hey, let's do these jet sweeps with Deebo 7 times.
I think for him, like it became a question because like we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo in that system, and he is an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo, in which a lot of people are like, well, Jimmy Garoppolo took to a Super Bowl. Yeah, he did. So now they're like, this guy's an upgrade on top of that. So I think it kind of got to that point. And plus, you know how it go, bro. People can't wait to jump on the next new thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I mainly was saying. Like, I feel like we got clarity on what he is and who he is. I also feel like we got clarity of who's actually the leader of this team. And the leader of this team is Trent Williams, bro.
Yeah.
Easily Trent Williams. He's the best player on that offense. That even includes CJ McCaffrey. Without him, those holes weren't opening up. The blind side was not protected. The passing game could not get going in 2 games that we saw. And as soon as he comes back, like, bro, he's going to get the defensive end, Josh Allen. Completely neutralized him, took him out the game, and they are running the ball whenever they want at will, and just everything's flowing and everything's going. Bro, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Jeff Saturday does his pancake segment,
No,
They brought up Trent Williams and like, bro, real talk, the corner turned his back to not get blocked by Trent Williams.
hey, business decision. Business decision. Business decision, bro. I was watching Pat McAfee show, and they got Darius Butler on there. He does like a defensive segment one time or every weekend. And last weekend, I can't remember, it was the 49ers, and they ran a screen pass. And the cornerback did the same thing because they did like a screen pass to where the tackle pulled, they put in another tight end, and it was just like three big boys running at the D back. And he said, nah,
Bro,
not today.
that's what I mean.
Not today. Not today. So, I don't fault a man for making a business decision. You live to fight.
Hey, bro. Hey, I ain't mad at him. But I think that's what it says about the 49ers. It just solidifies kind of like what we knew them to be, and showcases what they are supposed to be. Because also on this 3-game losing streak, you got to remember they shouldn't have lost the first game anyway to the Browns. Purdy led them on to a game-winning field goal. They just missed a field goal. Yeah. That's what happened. But like theoretically, they won that game. Like they had a chance to win it. So really, it's just two bad losses, and one of them, like Purdy got a concussion and was coming off a concussion in his defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it says about the 49ers. About the Jags, like I said, it shows that they are not that level of team yet. Mm-hmm. It shows that they are beating up on a weak division. That may not be weak no more. We're going to get to that. Getting to that. Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence still got some steps for me. He got steps. I'm not going to call him a bust. I don't think he's a bust.
I don't think he's a bust by any stretch.
I think he's a bust, though, so far in terms of like what people expected him to be. He's not a bust in the league. I'm not judging him on that. It's like what people thought he was going to be the next John Elway, Andrew Luck, all those kind of guys. And it's like, I don't see that. I do love his toughness, though. I do love his toughness. He will stand there. He'll get folded and still throw that ball.
Oh, yeah. He took a couple of shots himself. You take him over Herbert?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably not. The arm talent of Herbert, I think, is far better. But I will say I do think Trevor's IQ of the game is better. Yep, I do think that is better. Mm-hmm. But I think I would still go Herbert over him. But that is actually, I think, a good class to put him in. I definitely think that's a good class to put him in. And like I said, that's why they won a top 5 team for me last week.
We saw Purdy disappear a little bit. What was that? A couple weeks ago when CMC was out. And we just saw how different that offense was without CMC. So, yeah, Trent Williams is, I would say, the leader on that team, but CMC is the motor, Absolutely. You really saw that when he went out.
Absolutely. And also, I feel like, man, we got to give more credit to Debo. Yeah. Debo changes the whole wide receiver room because he could catch a screen pass, take it to the crib, a slant route, take it to the crib. He can run deep. He's kind of like a poor man's A.J. Brown.
He's a football player. He's just a football player.
Yeah.
Yep. You said poor man's what?
A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Even like how Percy Harvin used to be utilized.
Exactly. He's just bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And that, so, like, when you got that going on, the defense is flooding to that side, let alone you got to be concerned about C-Mac. And now Brandon Ayuk gets to work and function. So, unfortunately for him, I think he took a cut in pay because I think he's in a contract year. Mm-hmm. Because, when he had a moment to try to showcase what he could do out there by himself, he did not perform, unfortunately. But that's really all I got for this game. Was there anything more that you want to talk about with this game?
Not really.
It's hard to talk about a 34-3 game. So
not really. Not really. I think we'll have a conversation here in a little bit of some of these 6-3 teams.
Yep.
There's a few of them that I think are kind of fraudulent. Jags is one of them.
So actually, speaking of 6-3 teams / 7-3 teams, because their bye week haven't kicked in yet, we're gonna go start talking about the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. In this game, bro, first of all, I want to give credit to the Browns for hanging in that game because that was a rough game for them from the first 3 quarters. They were struggling. Deshaun Watson started off the game throwing a hot pick 6. Yeah. And like from that point on, they could have quit. They're going against maybe one of the best teams in the NFL. They could have quit, but they did not. So I give them a lot of credit for hanging in that game and more importantly for coming back and winning that game. And the way that they won that game, I feel like, bro, Myles Garrett is showing that, bro, he's on a different level.
He's a man amongst boys out there.
He is a man amongst boys. And if in this year, I don't feel like there's a quarterback that's truly dominating to earn the MVP, I think he got a shot.
To win it? I
I think he got a shot. What quarterback are you going to take? The best quarterback playing right now is probably
Yeah,
C.J. Stroud,
I
but
would. Yeah, but and see the thing about me with CJ Stroud is, and obviously we'll get there. What are they 5-4?
that's the
You
issue.
know, it's like
That's the issue. You're not even winning your division right now. I can't put you there yet.
right, yeah. And where are the Browns? Where are they second?
Yes, second, I believe.
Yeah.
Second, I
But I
believe.
mean, defensive player of the year. I mean, what are you talking
Easy.
about?
TJ.
Him, TJ, and Max Crosby. If you count in, he plays every single freaking snap.
Max
That boy
Crosby
got
going
like he got
crazy.
like double the tackles of TJ Watt, and
Oh yeah, Max Crosby going
yeah.
crazy out
He
there,
don't
boy.
come out the game though. But hey, you know what I mean.
Never.
He don't come
But
out the game. That's be
but
something.
yo, Myles Garrett and that defensive line, they came through and started dominating that game. Jadarius Smith getting his revenge game on the Ravens. And when you do that, man, they start getting their hands up, and that's when turnovers started happening for Lamar.
Yeah.
Also, real quick before I move on from the Browns points, I'm gonna give credit to Deshaun. I've been hard on Deshaun.
I'm glad you just said. I was getting ready to say. It made me happy to see Deshaun Watson do it. I'm a fan of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, now let's keep it a buck though. He wasn't good in that first half.
No.
That wasn't good. And honestly, I was about to get ticked off. If he wouldn't have came back in that game, I was gonna be ticked off because I'm like, bro, everybody out here playing with bad ankles, bad knees.
Yep.
Unless you got like a high ankle sprain, you get back out there.
Get out
Yeah,
there.
you got to get back out there, bro.
Man.
Yeah, so I'm happy he got back out there. Like I said, the first half he was struggling. But I'm happy that we're finally seeing a glimpse of what he was.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to keep it a buck though. That second half, he was probably just saying above average quarterback to me, slightly above. He was more than a Jimmy G. That's what I'm saying.
He's just been a shell of himself so much during the season, you know, that I feel like it was just good to see him. He made some big time.
Exactly. Yeah, he showed up. I'm not going to discredit him. He showed up for sure. And I'm happy to see that. But I really want to talk about the Ravens.
The Ravens, yep. I was about to say, what does that tell you about the Ravens? I have my opinion on it, which I just think that's a divisional game. Mm-hmm. I know the Ravens have given up a lot of fourth quarter leads, but they won them, you know? I mean, they lost this last one, but what was the one before? Was it the Seahawks and I can't remember.
They beat down the Seahawks. They beat down the Lions. I mean, regardless, bro, you can make a case that they should be 10-0. They had leads in all fourth quarters. Yeah. That's the tricky part for me. Is like, bro, when you got these leads, you got to close. Mm-hmm. And the 3 games that they didn't close, which actually kind of goes to what you're saying, and actually kind of what I'm about to get to. The 3 games they didn't close was against the Indianapolis Colts. Mm-hmm. I just think that they just weren't there mentally. They're just like, bro, we playing against the Colts.
Yeah.
Then I think that they lost to the Steelers, which is, let's just keep it a buck. None of us know how they win the football games anyway. It is a division game.
Yeah.
And then they just lost to the Browns. So, I mean, at least they lost to 2 good defenses. I will say that. Yeah. It took 2 star defensive ends to turn Lamar into kind of like a human in the fourth quarter.
And 2 of those 3s were division games.
Exactly.
To me, division games are just like
toss-ups.
Toss out the stats. Toss out everything else. Like,
agreed.
It can't. The realization of that Steelers and Ravens games, it came down to, hey, my player is gonna make a play against your player at the end for the game.
And that's what happened.
See, you know,
plain as day, what happened.
Pick it hot routed out of that and said, hey, I'm throwing this up to Pickens.
Now, I will say this, though, for Lamar, the things I noticed with him that I don't like, I want him to stop fumbling as much. That bothers me. I think they said that he has 10 fumbles on the year, 5 lost fumbles. Like, that's a lot of fumbles. And if you count in the interceptions, he's like 10. He's thrown like 10 touchdowns and has like 10 turnovers.
Okay.
Now, that's not talking about rushing touchdowns, just passing touchdowns. Like, that's not a great ratio. It's not a great ratio. And also what I really don't like that I'm seeing is like he had a ball to Zay Flowers, I believe it was. Either Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman. Wide open.
Yeah.
Down the field, easy 6, and he missed it. I need you to start connecting on those, man. You can't keep missing those. That's my only real gripe with him right now. And I do wish that he used his legs more. I wish he did use his legs a little bit more in scrambling. I think right now he's doing a lot of scrambling to pass. And every now and then I think that he's forced. He's having some Josh Allen moments.
Yeah, where he's trying to do too much. Be
Yeah, but
Superman.
sometimes just go ahead and get that first, bro. Get out of bounds and let's keep moving. Get back to the basics a little bit like you did. So that's my only concern really with Lamar. And my biggest concern is for their defense. Actually,
Really?
believe it or not.
Why's that?
Yes, when you win against a team that has some guys in a big division game, you failed. Specifically, an offensive line. When you win against a solid offensive line, you did not close that out the way I want you to. And more importantly, like everybody's different. But when I look at fourth quarter leads, I look at it as more of a statement against a defense when a team comes back than an offense.
Okay.
And I'm just like, when Deshaun Watson goes 13 for 13 in the second half, I'm like, bro, you got to make a stop. You got to. You got to. You make one stop, you win. They won by a field goal. You make one stop, you win the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's my gripe. And plus, just their defense is very. If you look at their type of players they have, they're gambly players.
Yeah.
The Marlon Humphreys, the Kyle Hamiltons, the Raquan Smiths, the Patrick Queens, the Jadeveon Clowneys. It's either a highlight or no lights.
Yeah. But see, this is I have a hard time because I like that. I like
it.
them. Yeah, right. We love them, and I would imagine that's fans. But if that's your team, you're probably like, what are you doing, dog? But you can't have the best of both worlds, and that's how you're gonna build your team. You got to either be all in or you got to be all. So I don't really like even the Trayvon Diggs. Like I don't like bashing them players for the things that we praise them on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hey, we know that they're going. We know that Patrick Queen's gonna take some risks. But
exactly.
That's why you love him.
That's why you love him.
If you want just a solid, linebacker that just is going to produce for you there, then that's cool. You're gonna do that too. But
go. Hey, I mean, go ahead and call up our boy Will Compton. He could do that.
Right.
He could do that. Right. I love Will Compton. That's my guy. But,
but I get what you're saying for sure. But what does that tell you in the long run? What if you had to extrapolate that thought? What about that makes you think are they AFC Championship worthy, Super Bowl worthy? We're a little bit further than the halfway point now. So
they are definitely a big contender to me. There was a time I would say they were the best team in the AFC. My issue is I can't say that now. That's what it is for me. Mm-hmm. And it's a combination of both the Lamar turnovers and the defense not locking up in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
it's a combination of both for me because I'm looking at it like when you go against a Patrick Mahomes, go against a possible Joe Burrow, go against a possible Tua and them boys. Mm-hmm. When you gamble and you miss, Travis Kelce can still take that to the crib. He's gonna make you pay for that.
What do you say? It costs you a lot, cost you little. It's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you. You do that to Tyreek Hill, that's 6 real fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Real fast. You do that to Jamar Chase, you ain't getting him on the floor.
Right.
You ain't getting him on the floor. So that's what I would say. I think they have a true shot still, but it's just like, man, just every now and then we just gotta get back to the basics.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Yep. It's so funny. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, unfortunately, we're not playing Madden, bro.
Right, yeah. that's a little bit higher stakes, people's jobs, families, careers. But I'm just saying, it's so funny how we talk about Lamar Jackson. Now it's like, I wish he would just use his feet a little bit more. It's like, well, 2 years ago we were wanting him to be more of a drop back pass. So it's just like being a pro athlete sometimes is probably
rough, man. Rough, man. It's rough. Now, look, in my defense, and I know you too, we never really judged him throwing the football.
Yeah, nah,
we always believed in him. But, I definitely understand what you're saying. It's like, dang, bro, well, I'm trying to pass. You still mad.
Yeah,
you still mad at me.
Now I'm trying to win. I'm trying to bet. Hey, the thing I love about Lamar Jackson, he gonna go out there and try to win the game. By all means, he don't got the best form. He don't got the best technique when throwing the football.
Absolutely not.
That little flick.
That little side throw.
That when it's good, that's you win the game. That's 6, so it don't matter.
But sticking with this division, bro, man, we're gonna move on next to the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals blew one, man, and they need that. They needs that, bro. They needs that. The Bengals had a bad game, and more importantly, bro, the turnovers were god awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like those turnovers were bad, bro. Like
this
for
was
you,
actually a game that I didn't get to watch all of.
okay,
I tuned in on the last end when I was trying to see what CJ Stroud was about to do.
okay. So this is what I would tell you about this football game. So first of all, bro, um, as far as like who won the game and who lost it, it's hard to really say. It's hard to say because the Houston Texans made plays and CJ Stroud made plays. It's more like he capitalized on the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But also like Joe Burrow and them boys, like Burrow threw two bad picks.
Yeah.
Like bad picks to Tyler Boyd, bro. I'm not sure if you saw that. He straight up just dropped a TD. Oh, like bro, when I tell you it smacked him in his hands. Like go back and look at that highlight, bro. It was like this.
Yeah.
Like no exaggeration. Like he was wide open, nobody by him, nobody close. Smacked him in his hands, and it just fell out.
One you got had Mike Evans did that too on Sunday. Like you got
it was just like Mike Evans, just like his. And so like you could definitely look at it like they did not win the game. Okay. If they were so yeah, if they capitalize on those things, they win that game, and honestly, they may even win that game handily. But when you don't capitalize on them things, now you get a field goal. If you would got a touchdown, that's a completely different ball game. When you throw the interception in the red zone, it was literally a Josh Allen interception, in my opinion, from Joe Burrow. He was scrambling to the right, tried to let that thing rip, and he threw it in to three defenders. Mm-hmm. Like just very uncharacteristic turnovers for Joe Burrow, and I think that's what makes it hard to say like whether they lost it or CJ Stroud won it. Because also CJ Stroud had to get that ball and go 80 yards. He got the ball with 46 maybe seconds left, or maybe it was a minute and 20 seconds, regardless, like not much time. And he had to drive the field to win the game, and he did it. Mm-hmm. And he did it. And plus, you can make the case CJ Stroud gave him the game because they had to leave for a long time, but he threw a pick six.
Yeah.
His pick six from some football. Some football guys are saying that they're saying that was actually more in the receiver than Stroud. The receiver was supposed to continue running the flat crossing route. Instead, he started fading back. So when he started fading back, it allowed Taylor Britt to undercut it.
Undercut.
But regardless, he threw a pick six right there. So like you could make the case that like he gave them a chance to win the game. Yeah. And the Bengals didn't capitalize on that. So honestly, bro, it was a really good game to watch. But there were things that both sides could clean up, and I can't necessarily sit here and say one side blew it and one side won it. I can't necessarily say that. I would just say that CJ Stroud capitalized on his opportunities.
He's been doing all year.
But what I will say that I did not like was I liked the last few weeks that the Bengals running game has been getting going. But this week, bro, they just did not get going. And I think that's what really hindered them in this game, made them very one-dimensional. And now once you get into a throwing fest with a young team like CJ Stroud and them have, you're giving them hope.
Mm-hmm. They're like, we got a chance. Especially they're playing with confidence and momentum.
Exactly. Yeah. So you gave them hope, and I think that's what cost them this game.
It's like you can't get no dogfight with no team like that.
Now, defensively for the Bengals, I think they got too simplistic. I think that I think his name Lou Anarumo, however you pronounce his last name, the defensive coordinator, he fell in love with like trying to do the typical rookie stuff to CJ Stroud. So they ran a lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 4, trying to just get pressure with the front 4. Granted, that is a Cincinnati Bengal like typical defense.
Well, yeah, I mean they don't have the safeties now to do that, but yeah,
exactly. So, and at the beginning, he kind of tried blitzing him a little bit, but CJ was picking him apart, and like there was nothing really. You could tell they didn't really know how to game plan against CJ. And when CJ got hot, he didn't know what to do. He was just trying to keep the ball in front of him. But at that point, though, like CJ got hot, man. You got Noah Brown out here getting 172 yards. And like, bro, if you watch him, like they're just a hot team, bro, passing the football. Like he's in a zone wide open.
CJ picks people apart.
And that's exactly what happened.
He'll pick you apart. You can't treat him like no normal rookie. Mm-hmm. We tried to lose that game against them, the Falcons.
Yep. and should have lost that game.
And he drove. Yeah, I was about to say he actually drove down and tried to win the game.
Yeah,
and he made the plays he needed to make. His defense.
Exactly. So for me with CJ Stroud, bro, this is all I really got to say for him. All the last thing I want to say about the Texans is that I sincerely think he's an MVP candidate right now. As a candidate, not saying he's top dog for me because kind of like how we already touched on a little bit, 5-4. I can't go there yet. I can't go there yet. Now, if they finish the year like 10-7, 11-6, and they win that division, we got a different conversation to have.
They would have to. I mean, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but
I'm not exactly sure either. But hey, all I'm gonna tell you is they play in the AFC South.
Oh yeah, you get it. We played them. I forgot.
So yeah, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. They got Tennessee again. They got Jacksonville again, who they already beat. And when they played them, I think they beat them like 31-7, bro, when they played them last time. So, like, I think that they could sincerely win that division. And if they did, then he has a shot. But also to sit here and say a rookie's going to stay as hot as he is, that's crazy.
Hey, but
it's possible, though.
He's broken every record at this point.
All of them. But there is one thing I will say about him. I kind of touched on it a little bit so far. He is by far, from week 1 to now, he's been playing the best football in the NFL when you combine every week. Yeah. Every week.
And when you look at it just like as a comprehensive, just bam, 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 he's made the most plays and made the fewest mistakes.
Yep. Like. And it made a solid, steady progression. Mm-hmm. And when you're taking a team, bro, his best wide receiver is Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Nico Collins didn't even play this game. Yeah. He was out there with Noah Brown and Tank Dell and Robert Woods. I love Robert Woods, but, bro, he is old as me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, DeMeco Ryans, you got to give some, like, he's a descendant from that Shanahan tree. Them boys, whatever that was in the water in the Shanahan family, they done sprung off some beasts.
Hey, bro, he got some guys out there. He got Sean McVay. He got Mike McDaniel. He got
Kevin O'Connell's from there too, right?
Yep, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. He came from Sean McVay, but, you know. Like,
underneath. But I'm saying that's the lineage. It's a tree.
Yep. The lineage is strong.
The lineage is strong. But all that to say, he got CJ. Like that. The thing that I like about what they do is they keep it simple. You know?
Absolutely.
It ain't nothing over too complicated, which I'll be able to talk about here in a little bit. Keep it simple. Don't go out there and a lot of defense are going to give you shell cover just because he's a rookie. We played a lot of cover 4 against him. We played a lot of cover 2 against him. Talking about the Falcons, and he was able to pick his spots.
Yep.
And when you go into a shell defense like that, you're saying like, "Hey, we're going to go out here and make this rookie beat us." Then.
Yep.
And credit to him, he's doing
it. And also, let me be clear, bro. You also go to that shell defense because you don't know what else to do.
Exactly. You don't got no tape on you. So it's like we figuring out as we going, and every week people throwing different stuff at him. We were trying to throw blitzes at him, but he picks his spots.
Absolutely. But yeah, credit to DeMeco Ryan. I actually got him. Him and Mike Tomlin for me are fighting for Coach of the Year. I got to throw Mike Tomlin in there just because, like, once again, I don't know how they winning games.
God,
I hate to sidetrack, bro. I hate to sidetrack, but just real quick, bro. Do you know that these dudes have not outgained their opponent in any game this year?
Yeah, I know. I heard LeBron say that to the reporter.
Bro, they 6-3.
Bro, they drive me crazy, bro. I just be like, I wish the Steelers would go away. Like, God, bro, they're going. Hey, whatever. I guess I got to tip my hat to good football, but I can't.
Once again, respect the lineage.
Whatever, bro. Respect the lineage, bro. But bro, they gonna finish the season 10-7, 11-6. I don't know how they do it, bro. They win these games by the skin of their teeth.
I have no, bro. It's so bad to the point that like I'm sitting here like the Bengals might have to finish last. Somebody has to finish last,
for real.
And I can't say it's gonna be the Steelers.
And I'm gonna add. Well, again, I said earlier, I got a question for you about some 6-3 teams. We're gonna talk about all of them, but yeah, I'll let you go.
But real quick, before we move on to the next game, I want to slide in a little talking point real quick. Just real quick. Who had a worse loss? The Ravens or the Bengals?
I already not the Bengals. I I'll save the reason why, but the Bengals just look so bad. That's just what it really. That's just, I was trying to find a way to say it like in a sophisticated way. The Bengals, they just look bad.
Yeah, they just didn't look good, and plus you also got to go with the flow of the season. And like T. Higgins ain't out there again. He's hurt again. They got a bad hammy.
And not for nothing, I'm comparing the Bengals from the last few years.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm comparing them to the Bengals standard and of the last 2 years, in which I'm not gonna lie, I ain't mad that the Bengals are trash right now. I'm not mad at it. They're finding their feeding, right? They're finding their grounding over the last few years, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't mad at it. I might be a little bit biased. Can't really stand the Bengals. But to see CJ Stroud march back into Ohio and do what he had to do.
Yeah. See, I actually kind of lean on the Ravens, actually. And the reason why I lean on it. Yeah, and the reason why is because that division is so tight. Like, but even the Bengals losing that game, they've only lost 5 games. And everybody else has lost 3. They're still right there. And I'm sorry, the Bengals may have lost 4 games.
They're 5-4.
5-4. So they only lost 4 games. They're only a half game back of all these teams, or a full game back, one or the other. And with that being the case, like I'm just like they got a shot, and for you to lose an interdivision game, that's the issue. That's the issue for the Ravens.
The loss was more detrimental in the long run, but when I'm thinking about like a worse loss, I don't really think the 1-point loss to the Browns is that detrimental. To like when you're thinking about your actual team, maybe to like record wise and playoff berths and stuff.
And that's all I'm talking about, record wise.
When I'm looking at my team, if I'm looking at my 2 teams, if I'm looking at the Ravens, I'm looking at my Bengals. If they were my teams, I'm saying
you're still more confident in the Ravens.
Exactly.
And I agree. I definitely agree. That's a
divisional game. You lose by 1. Deshaun Watson went out there and balled.
Yep.
In the second half, and
I definitely agree with you on that. Moving on to our next game, bro. Well, I want to get into the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Chargers. I still won't call them the San Diego Chargers. It takes work. You got to remind yourself. But, man, really what I want to talk about with this game is that, first of all, the Chargers proved to still have a terrible defense. God-awful. Even though their head coach is supposed to be a defensive guru, obviously he's not.
I was about to say, is that starting to go out the window? Is it really? I mean, they really just play how we play on Madden. Like they just it's like what's his name? Bruce Arians used to run the same type offense. Deep post, like hey, when you go big or go home, but them just don't win the tough games.
And what the thing that I dislike about it the most is that, first of all, there are some guys on the Chargers I do like. I'm a big Keenan Allen fan. I'm a big Austin Eckler fan. Yeah. I love the Mac Daddy, Khalil Mack himself. I love him. I'm a big fan of Derwin James. Like, there's guys I like on that team. But the thing I hate the most about it, all this stuff, is that I can't judge Justin Herbert. I can't.
Why you say that?
I feel like his coaching is so bad. I feel like it's so bad. He puts up these numbers, but I'm just like, if he gets a coach that actually knows how to play winning football, they win some of these games.
I'm following you.
And that's now kind of like what you're saying with the Bengals. I'm a KC fan. I ain't mad.
Right.
Like, they could give him a lifetime contract. I'm cool with that.
Right. You're like, I go twice a year, every year.
But I feel like there's a lot there. I feel like Justin Herbert has a lot in him. I feel like this. Justin Herbert could have a case to possibly be the 3rd best quarterback in the league if he had the right coaching. If he had the right coaching, if he had the right system and the right coaching, he could be that. He could, and which my 2 that would be above him is Patrick Mahomes and then Joe Burrow. But because of Josh Allen's turnover proneness, I guess you could use, we're making up words, he could easily be above him.
What do you say to somebody that might say there have been quarterbacks that have done more with less that are around his caliber?
Agreed. And that's why it's hard for me to judge him.
Right, like a Tua.
Yep, like a Tua. CJ Stroud. He's out here with John.
And I'm not even talking about Tua from this year. I'm talking about Tua from previous years who didn't have no help. Who, I mean, shout out to one of my best friends, Hunter. he was just saying the other day or a couple weeks ago that he listed off the offensive weapons that the Dolphins had, and none of them are even in the league at this point.
Exactly.
But, and it's just like we've heard a lot of big game Justin Herbert talk. So that's
the issue.
If he wasn't pushed into this limelight, he would just be another.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But
Agreed.
he was thrown up into this light. So now we got to look at you there.
Yeah, because for me, where I place him in the same categories like the Dak Prescotts, the Trevor Lawrences, like those kind of that group of guys. He's up there, but he's in that core guys. He's not in that top core.
Is that a knock on Dak? No. that might be a knock on Dak. Bless you.
For me, this is my thing with Dak. I feel like he's I hate bash on a dude, especially when he played a good game. I hate doing that to a dude. He played great against the Giants, but I'm just like, you beat the Giants. Yeah, you beat the Giants. I don't care. I hate to say it like that. I don't care. You had a bye week as far as I'm concerned.
Right, twice.
Like, come on, man. And then, like, you played good against the Eagles, but, like, there are plays to be made that you did not make.
Yeah.
And as I pointed out in the previous episode, and, like, those big-time games, you didn't win them. And there was a game that you should have won against the Cardinals where they needed you to elevate yourself, and you couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So that's my issues with Dak, and that's why I just can't put Dak in that Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes conversation.
So that's what I'm saying is the narrative. Excuse me, is the narrative Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert is as good as Dak, or is the narrative should be Dak has dropped down to Justin Herbert's level? You know what I'm saying? Are we pushing Herbert up, or are we pulling Dak down?
I actually think that we are pushing Herbert up.
Okay.
But in a strange way, and I'm not saying this to try to back out of anything, I think Dak is pushing himself up a little bit. I think they both are pushing themselves up right now. But I think that just raw talent-wise, I think that is not even close for them, too. For raw talent. Raw talent is easily Justin Herbert to me, and that's not even a conversation. Hate to say it like this.
It's better than that?
Raw talent. I hate to say it like this, but like the draft will tell you that by itself. Dak Prescott got drafted in the 4th round for a reason. There was a reason why he got drafted there. He did not have the measurables. He did not have the arm strength that people thought he was going to survive in this league.
Right.
Justin Herbert was the top 5, was he?
I don't even remember what.
He definitely was top 10. He was definitely a top 10. I think it was top 5 or 6. But anyways, regardless, like there's a reason why he went that high. He had the talent. It's just a matter of him putting it together. But yeah, that's more so what I would say. Respect to Dak sincerely. Right now, he's on the pace to be a Pro Bowler. And I personally think he's the second best quarterback in the NFC right now. Yeah. I still would take Jalen Hurts ahead of him. But that's the only guy in the NFC
I would take Jalen Hurts. I would take Jalen Hurts ahead of him as well.
Yeah, there's nobody else in the NFC. Yeah. Now, granted, that's more of a statement against the NFC.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you're kind of there by default. Like somebody has to be a tight end 3 behind, Kelsey.
Exactly.
Something like that.
But that's kind of how I see Dak, though. For me, what Dak is this simple. He has to prove it to me. And the way
how long are we gonna ask these guys to prove it to us?
And that's the thing. I'm not asking no more. I'm just putting you where you are. That's where you're at.
Right. I'm done. We're done with the prove it. We're done with this. This is where you're at. This is what it is. Build around it.
Because I'll tell you this now. If they got to play against the Eagles or 49ers in the playoffs, I'm taking the Eagles and the 49ers in the playoffs. It's not plain and simple for me.
Easy. And I know I just jumped the gun, and we'll probably get to that conversation.
No, you good.
But, yeah.
No, you good. That's the beauty of having somebody on with you sometimes. You could get to other conversations.
Bounce back and forth. But you didn't get to follow up on the Chargers and the Lions. Thoughts?
But that's really all I really got to say about the Chargers, man. The defense played pathetic. The offense actually showed up in that game. I actually felt like they played well. Yeah, there were some plays out there the offense could have made, but they didn't make them. But really, man, we got to give credit to the Lions. We got to give credit to the Lions, man. They went out there. They dropped 41 points. Now, I will say your defense, hey, y'all got to step it up.
Yeah.
You got to step it up. They're not consistent enough for me defensively. Granted, I want to say C.J. Gardner-Johnson is injured right now. He changed his name, by the way. You should look it up. It's some funny name. I done
Is
forgot
it
what it
really?
was.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
hilarious. But so technically I just called him by the wrong name. But
Right.
but anyways, yeah, I think he's out, which he makes a big difference for that defensive
Mm-hmm.
secondary. But man, we got to give Jared Goff some love. We got to give him love. That's your NFC guy. If you want to put a guy over Dak, that's who you could put over
Who
Dak
that would
this
be
year.
I got you, yeah.
I wouldn't do that, but you could if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Jared Goff, man, he's leading that offense, and they
I was
definitely have the best running game in the NFL.
I was just about to say, in contrast to you saying how inconsistent their defense is, their offense is consistent. They go out there
Very
with a
consistent.
purpose. They know exactly what they're doing. I heard Dan Orlovsky say like this is the most detail-oriented offense
I
in the
could see
league.
that. I could
As
definitely
far
see
as
that.
they go out there with a purpose, they're very intentional with everything. You know exactly what you're getting. So,
Mm-hmm. And my only issue with them is that, man, I can't get that Baltimore game out of my mind.
yeah.
That's my issue. And like even this game, I'm looking at it like if you're supposed to be that team, especially the style of team they are, this game shouldn't have came down to 3 points.
Yeah.
This game should not have came down to 3 points.
Why do you say that? Even though they're like a smash mouth, like we're just going to outgrit and
That's
grind you.
that. That's why. That's why.
You're
Chargers,
saying it can't be a 41-point game?
No, it could be a 41-point game. I'm saying that you should have won the game 41-24.
I got you. If you're that much more dominant
Yeah.
in that style of game. Okay.
And we're talking about the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it like that, but they're 4-5 for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, they're in the I think they're like 28th in total defense.
Exactly. And on top of that, we're saying that, like, in my opinion, they should be 2-7 because they got some losses. They got some wins that should have been some losses in there because of old boy doing some goofball stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I really got to say about this game. Kudos to the Lions, man. They played a great offensive game. They won the game. They did what you're supposed to do. Go win the game. They were on the road, so I will count them for slack. Granted, I mean they went to LA. That's not no hard place to play at, but
what do you call it?
Kudos to you.
Place.
Yeah, we got the job. Y'all got the job done. Last game I want to talk about real quick. We're going to try to do this one quick. I want to get to the real reason why I got you here today. Yep. The final game is the Monday Night Football game, the Denver Broncos at the Buffalo Bills. This was a terrible loss for the Bills, bro.
It's a terrible game.
It
was a terrible game. Like at some point, bro, we have to talk about these terrible Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night.
At some point, hey, bro, we've been punished by the NFL watching the Jets twice.
Bro, what was it, 9-8 going into halftime yesterday?
It was bad.
Yeah, bro, like
it was bad. Missed field goals and all. But real quick, the good I want to talk about for the Denver Broncos is that Sean Payton, he's finding some footing there. He's changed his coaching style, I feel like, so far. After that debacle against the Miami Dolphins, he's kind of changed his tone and changed the system that they're trying to run.
Stop being so stubborn.
And with that being the case, Russell Wilson has become more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people wonder why he's more comfortable. Honestly, they're just running a lot of things that they did in Seattle. That's what they're doing. If you really watch, that's what they're doing. The centerpiece of that offense is Javonte Williams. He's beast mode. Right. That's how they're utilizing him. And now Russell Wilson is doing a lot more boots and play actions, just like how he did in Seattle.
You're starting to see him get a little bit more comfortable back there, making something happen like we used to see him. I remember we used to watch Seattle and be like, how did he just make that happen? Like how?
And that's exactly what happened with that pass to Cortland Sutton.
Beautiful. That was a dime. Beautiful. I know it was a beautiful catch, but that was a dime. He was falling back.
Toe tap swag.
Yeah.
He showed up and he did his thing. But I would compare Russell Wilson right now to Brock Purdy, actually. In terms of how he's controlling that offense, how he's leading that offense. Is nothing crazy flashy, but he's making a flashy play when he has to. Yeah. He's just sincerely game managing that offense, and that's not a knock term in this situation. That's just he's doing what he's supposed to do. The Denver Broncos defense, I'm going to give them credit, man. They're making plays when plays are available to be made. And the guy that made them available, speaking of, is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Bro. I am not a Josh Allen hater, and I hate talking about him like this because I feel like I come off like this.
Let me start by
I
saying this. I'm a Josh Allen, like, I won't say a fan, but I like his style of play. I said it earlier about somebody else. I can't remember who I said it about. But I realized I'm only a fan because it's not my team. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only reason I'm like, but when I think about it, if I'm like, this is my guy, and it's like, bruh, sometimes slow down and speed up.
But see, my issue with him is kind of like what you said with Justin Herbert. They pushed him up so high to try to put him on that Patrick Mahomes level. And maybe I took it a little too personal because I'm a Chief fan. But when you said that, I'm just like, bro, he can't beat Pat, though.
Yeah.
And now he can't beat Joe, meaning you don't even make it to the championship game.
Right.
Hold up, boss. You can't beat Lamar either. Lamar beat him too.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
and his losses be bad.
That's the problem. That's the problem. They be so bad. And like this game right here, bro, like you couldn't do the handoff accordingly to James Cook.
Yeah.
So you fumbled. You throw. So this is the thing, real quick. I actually I'm excited about getting to this. Because you and I talk about this a lot. We talk about TIs. That's what we call them. So, hey,
tipped
all you see my sack, tipped interception.
Needs to be a stat. Because one of his was a TI.
But was it?
It was. I know what you're going to say because he had to reach and stretch and get it. I understand.
But more importantly, it was hot.
The placement. Yeah. The
placement
of it.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Stephon Diggs, great wide receiver. You can make a case top 5 in the game today. You can make that case. I don't know where he falls because honestly, there's a lot of dogs that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be top 5. There'll only be 5.
Right.
But with that being the case, he said several times that like he has conversations with Josh Allen. Like, bro, take some juice off that ball.
Take a little bit off that big dog. Hey,
bro, he did not have to throw that ball like that to Gabe Davis. He was wide open.
Yeah,
like, and that goes to the IQ factor for me. Know the player throw. That was Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis ain't top 5.
Right.
He top 55. Like, you gotta know who you're throwing the ball to, but you can't throw that dart. He don't catch darts. That's not what he do. When he catch darts, he uses belly. Watch it. That deep curl route when he caught that first down. Good route by him, by the way. Way to read the zone. Got to the first down marker. He catches it with his body because it's a dart. He don't catch it with his hands. The only time he catches it with his hands is when Josh Allen throw one of them long bombs that just fall right in. It's soft. Pocket. Yeah, and I'm not trying to hate on Gabe Davis here. I'm really not. But I'm just like, so for me with that specific TI, I'm like, but was it really a TI? Like if you talk to a Tom Brady, would Tom Brady blame that on the receiver or would he blame that on Josh Allen?
No, he would blame it on he would blame it on Josh Allen.
And that's my point. When you talk to a Peyton Manning, well, who's he gonna blame that on? He gonna say, yeah, the receiver should have caught it. He got both hands on the ball, but
I threw it kind of
as a quarterback, you got.
Oh no, didn't they say Brett Favre used to break people's hands?
And you know what, man? Somebody told me that's who Josh Allen is, and I was like, that's a perfect comparison. He's Brett Favre. I was like, that's a good comparison. Now everybody knows my comparison for him. I call him Russell Westbrook of the NFL.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's like, bro, just slow down. That's my guy. And it's funny that, I mean.
Just slow down sometimes. Slow down sometimes. But
we got to have a conversation about him and them. And really, what do you think? I understand, because obviously the common theme is something ain't working out. But what do you think it is? Do you think it's solely him? Or is there something going on? Or
absolutely not. First of all, as I'm going to talk about in the news segment, I do think there's something going on in that locker room because there's a lot of heat coming out that locker room. Yeah. I'm not sure if you saw, but Trayvon Diggs was texting or tweeting.
He said, hey, my brother, he wasn't like that until my brother got there.
Yeah, he also said 14 me to get up out of there.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about Trayvon Diggs. That ain't no random cousin. That ain't no random friend. Like, that's his brother.
I talked to him.
Like, and plus you got to combine that with the whole offseason with Stephon Diggs and the Bills this past offseason. So I do think there's some things going on there. I personally think as far as the offense goes, I think that they have a player that could do so much and they allow him to do that much. And I think that's what holds him back.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, like you, I feel like this, man. If you put him in the, a lot of people, it's a, what's it called? Addition by subtraction.
Okay.
That's what it is for me. If you could reel him back a little bit, give him a Derrick Henry, give him a Saquon Barkley, give him a Christian McCaffrey, give him a running back in a running game. All I need is 120 yards total for the game run.
Because what I was about to say, he plays like he don't trust his players, his teammates.
Absolutely, but the
when
issue is,
kept that at the end of the game, I knew he. I was like, he's running this touchdown by no stretch.
Speaking of, I'm just kind of like, me and you know that. Why didn't the defense know that? You know he ain't handing that ball off.
Right. Right. But, he leads the team in touchdowns.
But with that being the case, I think it's Frankenstein. That's what I think. They created
a monster. Yeah.
And now you're trying to tell the monster not to be a monster no more. You can't. He's already a monster.
Yeah.
That's like telling that's like telling the hound dog that actually hunts deer to not go hunt deer. Like, it's going to go hunt the deer. Like,
this
you can't tell it not to. So I think that's the issue. They tried to fix it by firing Ken Dorsey today. I don't really care.
How did you feel about that?
I don't care. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't care. I feel like Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I think he's the type of player he has to have a lot of respect for you. I don't think he had that respect for Ken Dorsey. That Ken Dorsey was never the offensive coordinator anyways. Josh Allen was.
Their offense is very stagnant too. They run a lot of the same sets. They run like 9 times. Like, we never see Stephon Diggs do anything really other than like a slant or like
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know.
Exactly.
You have to mix it up. You can't be so simplistic that it's that like you don't cause the defense to give you any other looks really. They don't really motion much. They don't really
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying I just don't really care. I think the offense is going to stay kind of the same, honestly, because you can't really change at this point of the season. Yeah. Honestly, I think it was a panic move. They had to blame somebody. The fans were mad. They just had to blame somebody, so they just fired him just to fire somebody.
Yeah.
But the offense.
Which I'm a fan of when it's warranted.
When it's warranted. But in this case,
I don't think that was on him. I don't think that was on him.
It was not warranted. So I think the Bills are in trouble. Before we move on to why I really got you on the show, last question about the Bills: playoff team or no?
That AFC, man, is so crazy.
And also 3 of their next 4 games. I want to say,
they got a tough schedule lining up.
I think they got the Chiefs,
the Jets. The Jets is the next game.
They got the Chiefs. They got
Dolphins.
The Eagles, I think. Dolphins in there, and there's somebody else in there too.
The Patriots.
No, there's somebody good in there. Like, not no F grade team like the Patriots. Somebody good.
Yeah.
I say no.
I was about to say I'm gonna say no. Just given what are they 6 and 3?
5-5.
Oh, they're 5. They're 5-5.
5-5.
They're toast.
This is exactly.
They're toast.
Exactly.
Just by math, they're toast.
And the issue is honestly the AFC North. That's the problem. All 4 of them teams are in.
Yeah. Yep.
Right now. And,
the
Raiders are 5-5.
Yep.
Like, there are other teams that are right there.
The AFC so stacked.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. But I'm done talking about the AFC, so I'm ready to get to what I really brought you on for. So, hey, people, a lot of you guys are kind of wondering why I brought my boy on today. Well, there's something I kind of want to get into, bro. I want to kind of get into a space of like inviting more fans on the show, meaning fans of teams and different teams. Because when you're a fan of a team, you follow them pretty differently. You follow them more closely than most people. And my guy right here is an Atlanta Falcons fan. And I'd just like to talk to him about what he's feeling and what's going on with his team and what he thinks should be done. I'm going to propose to him some questions that I hope that he can answer. And I'm going to give some of my takes on it. But, hey, hopefully you guys will enjoy this deep conversation about the Atlanta Falcons. So for the next 10, 15 minutes, this is strictly about the Falcons. And we're going to know in true ball mode on these guys. So, bro, man, the first question I really want to get into, we're just going to jump straight into it. We're diving head first in. As Waka Flocka said, head first. And what we're going to talk about, bro, is Arthur Smith, man. What do you do, and what's your thoughts on Arthur Smith?
So I'll be honest. After Sunday, I was a little emotional. Said fire the mayor, fire the chief, get him up out of here. Yeah.
You was Josh Allen on Sunday.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of pent up frustration, bro. Because
Absolutely.
we're a way better team than what we play. But I was coming to this season thinking we was gonna win 10 games. And that wasn't like no crazy that wasn't something crazy that I was thinking. Like, I don't normally say first of all, 10-7 ain't nothing. Let's just say that,
Exactly.
right? It's a lot in the NFC South though. And I thought for sure we was gonna be able to win the division. Which still isn't out of the play. I mean, we're undefeated in the division.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought for sure we was going to be able to scrape out wins. And this is why when you asked me specifically about Arthur Smith, when we lose games to what I think were 3 winnable games the last 3 weeks,
Absolutely.
I said we have to at least go 2-1 over this stretch, which would have been the Titans, the Vikings, and now the Cardinals. And we lose all 3 of them, bro. It's like,
yep, I'm pulling up your schedule right now. That's what I'm looking at.
Yep. So I think
yes, sir. Cardinals, Vikings, Titans. You also lost to the Washington Commanders.
Which again, that's where my frustration started with Arthur Smith. So to answer your question, and then I'll divert from there. I originally said fire the mayor, fire the chief, get him up out of there. After Sunday, I was done with him, and I've given him leeway. And I like Terry Fontenot, and I like all of them. But Terry Fontenot never picked Arthur Smith to be his coach. He got brought to Atlanta after Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was already there. So I think Arthur Smith needs to be done with the play calling, though. Do you know who our offensive coordinator is?
Who's that?
Dave Ragone. He ain't nothing but a glorified backup in the NFL for the past years. All that to say, bro. Even when, and I'm a fanatic, bro. I watch every press conference. I watch after the games. I can't help but go listen to what they say.
Well, I know you. That's just something you do. You do that with rap artists. You do that with everybody.
Yeah, I'm obsessive, bro. I really wish I could be a normal fan. I really wish. It drives me crazy that a Falcons loss will really ruin my day. But Dave Ragone, bro, is not. He don't call the plays. He's a glorified quarterback coach.
Yeah.
It's Arthur Smith in there with head coaching and play calling. I think he needs to. You're too far into the season now to go and find that. You're too far in the season, I believe. I'm not a believer in making sudden drastic changes like that. We did that a few years ago when we hired
you didn't do anything.
Raheem Morris. Didn't do nothing, right?
Yep.
It didn't do, and he hasn't done that horrible of a coaching job. So all of that to say, I don't think he needs to be fired, but I think he needs to relinquish play calling. He does.
Okay, so do you think that has more to do with that, or do you think that the personnel matches what he's trying to do?
The personnel,
a la like a Kyle Pitts, a la even a Bijan Robinson, even someone as skilled as he is, even the Drake London. Because for me, somebody just watches this game and really pay attention to it. Arthur Smith coming from the Tennessee Titans he ran a very specific offense there with an alien at running back. Yep, with an alien at running back. And even though Bijan Robinson is also an alien himself,
different type of alien.
I'm sitting here, I'm a big Marvel guy. I'm sitting here like, hey, bro, Derrick Henry is Carnage, and this guy is Venom. Both aliens, but Carnage is different from Venom. Yep. So with that being the case, I just kind of look at it like that. And then also when you got a guy like AJ Brown, you've got a poor man's Mike Evans and Drake London.
Yeah.
Which Mike Evans he plays like a similar type of AJ Brown. That's why I just can't call Drake London AJ Brown like that. That's a big dude. But he has more of like a Mike
Evans.
But
the blueprint is still there, right?
Exactly.
He tried to go get a big receiver.
Exactly.
Reason why he went and got a Matt Collins. Brought Jonnu Smith over. We run a lot of 13 personnel.
Who also was in Tennessee. Jonnu was also in Tennessee. He was their starting tight end.
Yep. So I mean, he's and this is why I do fault Arthur Smith, because you have your layout, you have your blueprint. Like Terry Fontenot was like, all right, cool. We're gonna let you we're gonna change the whole scheme. That's why Matt Ryan and him was butting heads, because Matt Ryan was like, whoa. I'm a gunslinger. I don't do this,
Which he doesn't. He doesn't do that with
right. and that's we can say this at the end. We did.
Yeah, that's a different day.
Matt Ryan deserves a little bit more credit than what we give him as a fan base.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nonetheless, don't matter. Them days are gone. We're here now.
Yep.
But this is what I will say about Arthur Smith. He makes adjustments. He does. I know a lot of people probably don't see them, or the narrative is give Kyle Pitts the ball, or give Bijan the ball. Well, last game we gave Bijan the ball a lot. I was even texting throughout the game like, "Hey, bro, I love you. Like, we're utilizing Bijan." I just think that Taylor Heineke injury.
I'm sorry,
and
pause real quick.
Yeah.
Fun fact: do you know that his name is pronounced Bijan?
Bijan, I know. Yeah, it ain't Bijan. But he and they actually did a thing. They were going through and saying like, "Do you know what his real pronunciation?" Everybody was saying, "Is it Bijan?" They're like, "No, it's Bijan." Yeah,
weird. But anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, he was utilizing it, and I like to see that. I just think you don't. I hate Taylor Heineke. I understand the lesson in trying to bench Dez. I understand it, even though he lied about it at first or whatever. You were trying to teach Dez a lesson. Absolutely lied about it, right? But when you switch quarterbacks like that in mid-game, whether it was because, Taylor Heineke got hurt, right? But Dez came in. Now you're operating off. I think he had he threw the ball like 5 times or whatever. You're just doing a lot. More simplistic, exactly. To my point earlier. Sometimes just line up and play smash mouth football. Last year we were 3rd in the league, I think, in rushing attempt or in just rushing period.
And that was with Colonized year in Cordell Patterson.
Exactly. And I even texted you last week when Bijan was hurt. I said, bro, our offense looks a lot smoother. We lost the game last week. But I was texting throughout like, hey, bro, our offense looks a lot smoother with just Tyler Algier back there. And it's because you're not trying to get cute and move Bijan into the slot, putting him in motion. No, we're lining up an I formation, putting Keith Smith back there, which is our fullback. And we're just going to hammer this ball.
So I just got to ask. Okay, I got 2 parts to ask. We're going to do this one first, and then we're going to go to the actual games. We're going to do the, I guess you could say the fantasy question first, and then the actual game.
Okay.
What do you do with Kyle Pitts? Fantasy. Oh, that's the same thing I think.
You saying in real life or?
Like in our made up minds today, what do you do with him? Not like fantasy football, but like our made like if you was the GM today, what are you doing with Kyle Pitts?
Fantasy? Oh, not fantasy football, but like you're saying in fantasy land, if I'm the GM of the Falcons.
Exactly. Yep.
I got you. I thought you were saying fantasy football. You traded for Kyle Pitts. He doesn't fit the system. He doesn't fit the schematic.
Absolutely agree.
I've sent you clips and clips of him just not being the type of player for that. For what we do.
Exactly. And I also feel like he tips your plays. You know when he's getting the ball, and you know when he's not.
Yeah. And he doesn't run hard.
Nope.
When he's not getting the ball.
Nope. And he even leans more when he's going to run hard because he knows that he's the target. I definitely agree with you on that. That I think you should let him go. I think the faster you let him go, the better. Because
there's no reason why Jonnu Smith should be catching that screen that he took for like 60 yards to the house. That's a Kyle Pitts play.
Yeah.
But Jonnu Smith. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but Jonnu Smith fits that scheme better. He knows exactly what Arthur Smith wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, and because he's so used to being a pass blocker or a run blocker. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. On them block and release plays, they work so much better for him because he might actually come out here and try to block me.
Exactly.
And now when I'm sneaking off to the side, now you're seeing Jonnu Smith have a breakout year.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts don't block. He don't. You know what I mean?
Protest against blocking.
Protest against blocking. He runs lazy routes at times, and it's just because he's unenthused at times. I feel like
exactly.
So, no need to waste this young, great talent.
Yep. And he got talent.
And he got talent for sure. For sure. I'm not saying Jonnu Smith is better than Kyle Pitts by any stretch.
Absolutely not. Ain't nobody stupid.
He don't fit the scheme. I just think everybody was saying this unicorn, you got to take him at 7. It is what it is.
Yeah. So now my question to you is, and this could possibly be a little back and forth with us, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Who should be the starting quarterback next week?
Des.
See, I still lean Taylor.
The only reason why is because did you hear did you hear the press conference after?
No.
Pretty much Arthur Smith already said it's going to be Des. He was saying he was saying that pretty much he had to put Dez in timeout. That's pretty much what he said. He said, I can't remember who he said his mentor was. I'm drawing a blank of who he was saying his mentor was, but he was saying he learned that from. He was like, hey, when I was saying, Dez is getting benched, whether for performance reasons, it was, but he was saying it was really more of just like at least this is what he was saying the other day. It was just a timeout. Sit down. Figure out what you need to do.
Recoup.
Go into the bye week. Your job you could be benched. Now you know how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you the reins again.
This is what I think, and this is why I lean towards Taylor. Going back, and I watched that entire football game, I felt like there was only one thing that Taylor did wrong this past week. I felt like he played better than the week before. I feel like. And the only thing that I feel like he did wrong this week was actually what I got a big issue with Geno right now. He took too many sacks.
Took a lot of sacks.
That was my real issue. I didn't really feel like
changing sacks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, Dez has so many nonchalant turnovers that it bothers me.
Yeah.
Like he has some, like his interceptions are bad interceptions. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't like the way he runs into the end zone. It really bothers me. It really like even this week when he scored the touchdown to go ahead, like he did the same thing that he did 2 weeks ago and got forced to fumble.
He decided on his outside hand this time.
Yeah, and just kind of slows down like, oh, like I'm Michael Vick. I got great speed. No, you don't. You're not Lamar. Like, bro, you better put your head down and go.
Hey, we ran that same play against Tampa Bay, and he dove in that time. We run that same.
Speaking of diving in, I don't know what Taylor Heineke thought he was doing. He tried to dive from 10 yards out.
He literally dove like, Madden when you accidentally press square and you're like, it's like, bruh. But this is my only beef, and I won't argue with nobody saying that Taylor Heineke gives us the best quote unquote chance to win games. But people that say that are looking at my team as
right now.
Who's going to give you the best chance to win the game on Sunday?
Yep.
That don't matter to me. Like I see no future with him. So my beef is it don't matter who wins the game. Like,
and the gap ain't that far. The gap ain't that far.
It ain't that far, right? And so, again, going back to our Brock Purdy example, if you can get off with it, I'm kind of in love with this idea of if we could just, that if you could
get him there. If we could just get him there.
Because people forget he's a third round pick. So this is my views with it. Taylor Heineke, we win with him. Who cares? We go 9-8 with him. Okay.
Exactly.
Desmond Ridder, we lose with him. You cut your losses and keep moving forward. The team around him is good.
Now, I will say this about Desmond Ridder that I like this week, man. I thought that he was far more aggressive with the football. I thought that he was throwing the ball downfield, even though the one to Van Jefferson, that was awful.
That was horrible. But that was his first throw. That was his first throw. Yeah, I know you're talking off on the right side, and it was horrible.
No, I'm talking about the deep post route in the middle of the field.
Oh, he had another bad one to Van.
Yeah, but I'm specifically talking about the deep post route. Like that should have got picked. Like if he ran a 10th of a second faster in the 40, that would have got picked.
Oh, I know it was a deep post down the middle.
Right down the seam. And it was just a dumb throw. Just was a dumb throw. And if you're going to throw it away, like you got to let that thing fly.
Yeah.
Like watch Matt Stafford throw it away when he's throwing a bomb. Like that thing's hitting the end zone. I mean, that's Matt Stafford. But those guys, like that thing's going. That thing's going.
See, and I think I've even told you this before. I have no problem with Des doing that. Mm-hmm. I actually am more, because this is the thing, his intangibles, and that's what you hear about say, his intangibles, but he's a very confident player. And I don't like when Arthur Smith, I can see him holding back the reins on Des. Let it go. Let us.
And I also felt like he did that to Taylor. I felt like Taylor played very tight. And I also blame it on Arthur because I felt that way with Dez too.
Yeah.
And as
they were playing not to mess up.
Yeah, as a head coach, you can't make your quarterback feel that way.
Yeah.
You will lose a game if he feels that way. So my last question I want to ask about your boys real quick before we move on. What do you think? Do you think there's an issue between the GM and the head coach? And when I say an issue, let me clarify it. Not an issue in like they got beef, but an issue in how to structure the team.
No. Let me say this. No. Number one is because Terry Fontenot was very hands-on in the drafting process. That's number one. I know that from just watching every interview they had. We had a whole rollout and a whole thing that can't really get into. But he's very hands-on with the drafting process. There was not one person that got drafted last year that he didn't want. So was it maybe a little bit of you were here first before me, and now this is what it is? Because like I said, Arthur Smith did get there before Terry Fontenot. And now we're just trying to build this thing together, maybe he would have a different perspective. So our GM, for people who don't know, came from the Saints for the past 17 years.
Real quick, to refresh my memory, when did he get hired?
This is his third year now. So 2021 was his first.
Okay, so
2020 was his first.
Okay, so he drafted Kyle Pitts. That was his first.
He drafted Kyle Pitts. Yep.
Okay, keep going.
Yep. So anyway, he came from the Saints. Our division rival. He's been around for 17 years, so he's been there for Super Bowls. I have faith in that he knows like how to build a team. So I don't really think that there's any I won't say conflict, because I know what you're saying. There's not no beef or nobody don't dislike each other. I just think, man, Arthur Smith's just not. I think he needs to be relinquished to play calling. I really truly think that's just what it is. I think he's doing too much. He came from the Titans, but he was a tight end coach.
Exactly.
So he might just be in over his head. It might be it for like we had Dan Quinn come over and be the head coach, and he was like, I'm gonna go back to the Cowboys and go back to what I like to do. You know what I mean? It could just be
and be maybe the best at it, by the way.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I just think it's an element of that. But there's definitely some art, and the reason why I say this is because Arthur Smith is so in and out a lot of the times.
Okay.
He like I said, is Drake London going to start? Is he not going to start? Is it going to be Taylor Heineke? He could never answer the question.
Yeah.
His dad's he's very indecisive, and I don't like that as a head coach. The only thing I do really like about him is he's aggressive. I know if it's a 4th and short, we're going for it. We've gone for 2 in situations where we might not should have gone for 2. But yeah, so all that was a long answer to say I don't believe that there's really a conflict between GM and coach. I don't.
Okay.
I could be wrong and biased, but that's what I think.
Final thing, and then we'll move on to the next thing to end the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think y'all still have a real chance to win the NFC South?
Yes, because the NFC.
I agree.
It's the NFC South. You know what I mean? We're
Carolina ain't doing nothing. Tampa,
we're 2-1 in the division.
Tampa just like y'all, and who knows what the Saints got going on?
Yeah.
The Saints are sincerely, to me, one of the most disappointed teams in the NFL this year.
In my personal opinion. But I love it though, because I love it. I love it. Everyone was trying to, not even because but everybody was trying to. I was like, since when was Derek Carr this god? You know what I mean? I
agree.
Like, arguing with people, I got to bet with these Saints fans. It's like, bro, Derek Carr's y'all savior. First of all, we stripped y'all's defense. We took Ryan Nielsen came over from y'all. We got David Onyemata, Caden. I was like, our defense is good. Like our defense is good. Our
really good.
Our defense lost us those last 2 games. I will say that. Arnold Ebiketie took a horrible angle to get the sack on Kyler Murray. The week before that, Bud Dupree took a horrible angle on Josh Dobbs. So, but as good as our defense has been all year, I've been saying it's only a matter of time before our offense is going to have to cover their backs, right?
Exactly.
But anyways, I think that we do have a shot. The reason being our schedule coming up, I mean, we got to bye this week. Then we play the Saints for the first time at home. I think we split with the Saints like we do every year, usually.
Every year.
After that,
I agree.
We got the Jets, which winnable game, but I think it's a loss because their defense. Okay. I don't think our run offense is going to get going well enough to open up the pass. After that, we got the Panthers, then we got the Bucks.
Winnable game. Well, you beat the Panthers.
We stole one from the Bucks early away, which I thought we were going to lose that one because it was away. I think we win this one. Then we have this is where it could change for us. We've got after the Bucks, we've got the Colts, and then we've got the Bears, and then we close out the year with the Saints again away.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. Yep. You got Saints.
That's 7 games.
Yep. Saints, Jets, Bucks, Panthers, Colts, Bears, Saints. I definitely could see you guys winning at least 5 of them games.
And that would put us right at, which is crazy.
9-8.
9-8. And it's like, bro, that drives me crazy because we should have beat the Commanders. We should have beat. It's like, bro. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We're going to find out. I hope we stick with
the good news is, though, you'll have a chance to still make the playoffs in the NFC because it's trash.
We almost did last year. We went 7-10.
Exactly.
So
now, to close out our episode, man, let's go ahead and get to our top performances. So we're going to do our top 5 performances. Now, hey, all my viewers, you all know that we do this top 5 performances of the week, and I'm going to name all 5. But this time I'm not. I'm going to name 4. I'm going to let our guest name the 5th one. Number 1 for me is easily C.J. Stroud. I feel like there's not a whole lot to be said, man. Young rookie going out there leading the game-winning drive against the ice-cold man, Joe Burrow. Hey, man, you got to give him nothing but love and respect. Without his number 1 receiver, Nico Collins, he was the top performer of the week to me. Number 2 is actually Myles Garrett, man. Myles Garrett went out there. He shut down our entire Baltimore offense in that second half, and he allowed the other defensive players to get off. And the defensive line was getting their hands up, and he's leading that charge. He could get tip passes, and Denzel Ward and all those boys. Actually, I'm sorry, not Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome catching picks and taking them back to the crib. Number 3 for me is actually Jared Goff and co, meaning just the entire offense, man. Jared Goff, he led that offense, man. The running backs played great. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he deserves a lot of love, man. This dude, I'm telling you guys, he's an elite wide receiver in the NFL. He probably makes my top 10. It's hard to say top 5 because, like I said earlier, you can't put everybody in the top 5. But, man, he's having one of them type of years as well. And then the final guy I'm going to go ahead and throw Dak Prescott in there, man. Hey, when you go out there, you have 5 total TDs in the game. You immediately make the list. Like, yeah. Now, as our 5th guy, go ahead and give me the 5th guy. Who's our 5th guy?
I'm going to have to say, man, I just got to give respect to him because he's been doing NFC South side. Josh Dobbs.
Hey, Josh Dobbs.
I mean, him coming out there against us and not even, they didn't have the cadence down. Bro, you cannot. He came as a 3rd-string quarterback.
Nothing.
Because what was homeboy's name?
Tune or something. I don't know. Hill.
He got hurt. He got hurt. And then he comes in and does what he does and wins the game. And then the very next week, he does what he did to the Saints. Like,
hold up, without Justin Jefferson.
And I mean, you only been there for a week and a half.
It's true. Alexander Madison got a concussion last week. You don't have to start running back.
And I don't even know what his exact stat line was, but I watched our game. I know exactly what he did against us.
Hey, bro, listen.
Made a way.
This is knowing true ball. We don't care about them stats, man. It's about the odds. What you do out there. And that boy, man, he going out there playing these winning games. Period.
Making it happen. What they call him? I saw they call it because he's super smart. Like,
oh yeah, stupid. NASA smart.
NASA, bro. They've been calling him the pastronaut. I said, man, we don't gave this dude a nickname, bro. Now, the Falcons is always known for just doing something crazy.
Hey, man, I will say this though. Right now, because of this story, first of all, those of you that have a TikTok, go follow Josh Dobbs on TikTok. It's a pretty interesting. He's good. He's good on that platform. Mm-hmm. But man, hey, Josh Dobbs has quickly become a player that I truly root for.
I like
in the NFL.
I like them type of players that are gamers.
Now I'm gonna keep it a buck though, everybody. He's not a starter, okay? He's not a starter. He's a premium backup quarterback. Next year, if you go into next year with him as your starter, you ain't winning no games. But he's a great dude to root for. The New York Jets dropped the ball. You should have got him on that team.
I wanted to say something to sliding, but I don't want to say that.
There ain't nothing to say. That's all I got to say. Now, our final segment, everybody, man, we're going to talk about the top 5 teams, and then we're going to get up out of here. as my top 5 teams, I got the Eagles as the number 1 football team right now. They're on a bye week, but hey, they're the only team in the league that has only 1 loss on their resume. As the number 2 team, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. They are like I want to say they're the second team with only 2 losses on their resume. Everybody else has at least 3. So I kind of feel like you got to automatically put them there. Third, I got the Niners. They boost back up to me. They was on punishment the last couple of weeks, and we see them fully healthy, and they go out there and they rout a team that was 6-2. Like at the end of the day, the Jaguars were 6-2. Whether I believe that they're contenders or not, they beat a quality football team, and not just beat them, but beat them handily. Number 4, we got the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, man, they went out there, they won another game. Actually, that's the second team that's actually only lost 2 football games this year, so we got to give them some respect. And then as a final team, and I'm going to let you choose which one should be in this spot. As number 5, I got the Dallas Cowboys or the Miami Dolphins. Which one do you think deserves that spot?
I got the Dolphins. For sure. As in the famous words of Stephen A. Smith, whatever's going to go wrong with the Cowboys is going to go wrong with the Cowboys. and like I said, when my best friend's Hunter, I would love to see the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl. I got the Super Bowl against or AFC Championship game against y'all.
The only reason why I would roll with the Dolphins right now, because to me, like honestly, I hate to say it right now, but their resumes are the exact same to me. Yeah. The games that y'all played that y'all should have showed up, and we need y'all to show up in the big games you failed. The only big difference is that the Cowboys have that bad loss against Josh Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals, and the Miami Dolphins don't have a loss like that on their resume. But they lost the same amount of games, same amount of wins, I believe. So, like, they're kind of floating in that same ballpark. The main reason why I'll lean towards Miami is that, hey, they are the number 1 team in their division. Yep. And the Cowboys aren't. You're number 2 behind the Philadelphia Eagles, who you lost to. So, man, hey, that concludes our episode. Hey, my brother, man, thank you for showing up on the show today. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, we're going to get you back again one day. Hey, it's a Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Peace.